This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly movie and TV podcast with a new episode every Thursday. This is episode 146, and this week we're going to discuss upcoming releases, including Snowpiercer, Begin Again, and Transformers: Age of Extinction. It's finally here. Spoiler-free reviews of 22 Jump Street and How to Train Your Dragon Part 2 are from the Outside In topic this week. Robots! That's it. Just robots. Movie and TV robots. Latest in movie and TV news as always, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson, and with me today are my fellow hosts, Scotty Clark.
Oh, shit, I thought I was muted. I'm sorry.
Fuck. Were you making robot noises back there?
Oh, wait, I am not muted.
Were you making robot noises in
Yeah, I was just
preparation?
kind of beep, beep, burp, 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 burp.
That's beautiful. That's a good way to start. Scott Clark, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And that was Justin McCumber, who doesn't know how to use the mute button.
Hey, Laser Lips! Your mama was a snowblower!
Spoiler alert.
What is that from?
Short Circuit.
Oh,
Short Circuit,
Short
bitch.
Circuit. That was a classic. So does that mean that's going to be one of your favorites?
No,
Oh. Scott?
might be one of his.
Might be one of mine.
Oh, crap.
Maybe.
Are we jumping ahead?
By the way, I think we should consider changing the name of our podcast. I think some prostitutes might be offended by the hoe.
There's a lot of name offension. Offension? Is that a word?
Offension?
Offensive. Name offenders that are out there. So, yeah, apparently that's a big deal now.
We've gotten lots of emails
We're
from
not gonna
angry
change it.
prostitutes that are offended by our shirts.
I think you just got them because I didn't see it. Justin, did you get an angry prostitute email?
I get angry prostitute emails every day, but it's not about this show.
Maybe if you were
It's all the whole thing.
Maybe if you were as sexy as we were, Aaron,
Yep.
you would get more angry prostitute emails.
I think it's great that you have a hard time remembering that I am not Southern, and you called me Brian, who, by the way, is not here this week.
We were missing that certain Southern persuasion.
Yeah, we're missing
Fuck you.
random pauses.
Well, just because I don't sound like this doesn't mean you're missing out on some southernness.
We can't have Brian here without a Deliverance reference. Like, it just doesn't happen.
He gets mad because I use him. That's why I use him. I keep
Only
telling
when-
him, I'm like, if you wouldn't get offended by it, I would never use that again. And he's like, yeah, you would. Well, okay. You keep saying that. Keep getting crabby.
That's all right. He's not listening anyway.
That's true. He's not. Justin, you're a big Star Wars fan, right?
Yeah. Whatevs.
You only have like an entire wall devoted to it. How do you feel
Yeah.
about Harrison Ford not being able to walk around the Millennium Falcon? And
He needs to toughen up.
He broke his foot, right? Did he break it or just twist it? I don't know what he did.
It was an ankle.
I've heard a few different things, but it all seems to culminate around the foot ankle area. Hey, the guy's getting older.
Is it a
so
cankle?
J.J. Abrams, you guys, if he says, "Hey, let me do my own stunt," maybe you should just go. You know what, bruh? Why don't you go ahead and let the young buck take care of that?
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
I saw one of the. There was a meme online that I thought was pretty funny. It had a picture.
Let's talk about memes on this show.
Well, it's relevant to the story.
All right.
It had a picture. You know that meme goes around where celebrities hold like a piece of a sign
Yeah, I
that says
saw that
something,
one, yeah.
and then Harrison Ford had a sign that said can do the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, but can't handle a door with his foot or something like that. That was pretty funny.
I felt bad because so many people thought that was really him.
Yeah,
Like a lot of people thought that was really him.
No, that was photoshopped.
Yeah, it was Photoshopped.
I'm
He's
pretty
still
sure-
wincing in pain somewhere.
I'm pretty sure 95% of those are photoshopped at this point.
Yeah, if I was an actor, I would never let anyone take my picture ever.
Holding a blank anything.
Yeah, anything, nothing. But if you didn't hear, it is slowing down Star Wars Episode 7 a little bit. It's still on. It's going to be on schedule. I mean, it's not like they're shutting the movie down. They'll just work around his schedule. Maybe have
I
him,
should just CGI his face onto some computer character.
It worked for Tron.
some young person that can actually move.
Oh, did it work for Tron?
Ah,
Yeah.
Did it?
Did it really?
Did it?
Well, Justin, I talked to you. I mentioned this to you before the show that I have a surprise, right? Big surprise, and hopefully we haven't offended anybody with the prostitute talk. But everybody that's a long-time listener, and I should probably explain it for anybody that's a short-time listener, Justin and I have had a long-time debate. I want to say it's a healthy debate, but it's not, about whether or not Tremors is science fiction.
Oh, jeez.
No, let me finish. You got to hear it out. So I've gone back and forth on this forever and ever and ever.
Turned into a big Facebook
Battle.
battle.
250 posts
Yes.
between the two of you.
On whether or not Tremors is science fiction or not. Please don't email in. We don't need any more opinions on it. We're good. So, what my big surprise is that I got in contact with S.S. Wilson, who is the writer of Tremors, and he has agreed to come on the show and do a special podcast talking about his work and also to discuss that. Tell me that isn't fantastic.
That is fantastic. Do I get to be on?
Yes, absolutely.
I get to hold some feet to some fires, maybe?
That's right. And he also wrote Short Circuit. Batteries Not Included. He's written quite a few things. So that's very cool that he's willing to come on and be a good sport. I mean, I explained the whole situation, so he's aware.
I want to be there. I don't necessarily need to join in the discussion. I just want to sit back with a bucket of popcorn and have a good time.
I think it'll be a very, very fun episode. He said he's free sometime in July, so hopefully we'll get that wrapped up. I thought that was very cool that he's willing to do that as well.
Yeah, that is cool.
So that's my surprise. Happy early birthday.
Well, I appreciate that. Now I need to start putting some notes together.
You got to start making
I'll
your
just
case.
refer back to my...
I was going to say, just get plenty of
Just
notes.
start reading his posts?
All online.
Oh, that's too funny. All right, well, let's get into the show. Disney has made $40 billion off of just merchandising last year. So last year, other movies, TV shows, other properties didn't come close to this. They make more on merchandising than anything. Can you believe this?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, hell, they've had these characters that they've been making money off of merchandising for years. And with the acquisition of Marvel and the acquisition of Star Wars, I mean, those totals are just going to continue to go through the roof.
Mm-hmm. It's going to make buying current action Star Wars figures not nearly as valuable. The old ones, like back from like...
They already aren't. I actually looked at that up when I saw this. A lot of those figures aren't really... They're not gaining value anymore where they used to.
Oh, the
Well,
old...
of course not, because everybody's buying them,
everybody's buying
and they're all
them.
keeping them in these, hermetically sealed vaults that will never. That you could have an X-ray bomb go off next to it, and they'd still be fine. It's the rarity that makes these kinds of figures valuable. It's condition and rarity, and with everybody buying them and keeping them in their boxes and keeping them stored, there's no rarity. So
Right.
therefore, there's no any kind of real price driving that's going to go up. Same thing with comic books. Long time they were valuable because so few people bought them, and then fewer people's mothers didn't throw them out. And so if you happen to have one, well, it was worth something because you maybe were the only one who did. But when I got into comic book collecting in the 90s, it was just everybody was buying 5 copies of the number 1 issue and keeping them bagged and boarded and in boxes. And that's why the price there isn't going up either.
Yep.
It's pretty
Too many
sad.
people were fans.
The ones that are worth something are the ones that when you buy something and invest in it before it becomes popular.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Unfortunately, action figures and comic books have been popular for 40 plus years
So you need
now.
to buy up every action figure for every movie that flops and that looks like a complete dud. That's what you need to buy up.
I don't think that'll work because
It'll work once. I can't tell you which ones that'll be, but it'll work once.
It's just a crapshoot at this point.
That is my mathematical solution. It'll work 1 out of
I mean,
100
my
times.
father-in-law, rest his soul, he swore up and down that someday the little Yo Quiero Taco Bell Chihuahua dogs that you could buy from Taco Bell, that those would one day finance his retirement.
Wow.
True story.
That's kind of funny. I mean, good on him. I mean, everybody's got their thing where they buy anything.
Remember-
I have Star Wars plates. I have these little cheap, or they're not cheap, they're really nice plates. They cost a lot of money back in the day, which was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I still have them. I don't know how much they're worth or if they're worth anything, but I bought them because they look like they would be.
What do you mean by plates?
They are...
Like dinner plates. Like,
No, they're not dinner plates. They're like a collector plates. They basically have Star Wars motifs and
they look like they're hand painted.
Yeah,
Kind of
they-
like those,
yeah.
oh God, what were they? Franklin Mint
yeah,
kind of
like
things?
that.
Yeah,
And I'm sure it's worth something. They're worth something. I don't know what it is, but
it might be.
Remember,
New Zealand a couple of years ago put out actual New Zealand currency. I mean, it was real currency. You could use it to buy stuff, but it was all had Star Wars characters on them. And I bought 6 of them.
oh wow.
And they've since come out with more, but they're so expensive. But they're actual currency.
are they still worth what you paid for them, or have they gone up in value? Or
I have no idea. I don't buy those things for the value, monetary value. I buy them more for the the personal value, and just knowing that I got something that maybe not a lot of other fans have. Maybe it's a little hipstery, I don't know, but I enjoy having them, and they're on my wall that Aaron referenced that is entirely devoted to Star Wars.
Right.
Posters, toys, everything else.
You hear when you walk in, I'm sure you can hear the lightsaber.
Dun, dun,
I was going to say, he
dun,
plays the
dun.
Imperial March cued with a laser, so he crosses it
Nice.
and it just plays
It just
automatically.
plays, and he just sits there with his hands on his hips and looks around.
Uh-huh.
I have my black bathrobe on. We talked about Snowden last week on last week's show, and now they're making Bob Bergdahl movies. I'm not going to go into that whole thing. I just want to point out they're making 2 of these movies based on this guy that was just brought back to America
Already.
and he is even. I don't even think he's out of the hospital yet, and they're already putting together films on this poor guy.
How do they know what his story is?
That's a great question that somebody in Hollywood's going to make up the answer to. Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, he has not been before any, military or government board to talk about what happened over there. So how the fuck are these how are you prepping anything without really knowing anything? God, it's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. At least for the Edward Snowden, there's been some time. I mean, it's been over a year. Okay, there's probably some stuff you can culminate, but this guy, his plane just landed. It just landed, and some writer's already gone, all right, I got this story down. I'm good.
I still think the Snowden thing is too quick. I mean, that's still technically going on because there's still talk on the news about how he's over in Russia being harbored.
But at least he's been on Russian land for a while.
Yeah.
This guy.
Do you think when they finally fly him back to America, that will be the film that's on his plane?
I think he is back
that'd be awesome.
now. I think he is back now. Oh, you mean Snowden?
No, Snowden.
It's the in-flight
Still in
movie.
Russia.
That would be fantastic. Oh, he's come back. You want to watch this? What is it called? Snowden Story? Sure.
It's called Traitor.
Snow in Moscow. Well, how about happier news? Justin, they are rebooting Scooby-Doo. Ruh-roh. And I guess the reason I'm mentioning this is because Casey Kasem, he was the voice for Shaggy, and he just passed away. What do you think? Do you think they should go like they did last time, where they had the mix of live action and animation, Justin, or should they just go with an all animation Scooby-Doo?
I think that they should go with a full CGI animation kind of movie. I mean, we've already seen human actors with a CG Scooby-Doo. Why even reboot it? I mean, it's not as though Scooby-Doo is some kind of tight storyline that's been evolving over decades. It's just dumb characters.
Hey, it's one of my favorite cartoons.
I'm sorry.
Tread lightly.
It's just a bunch of characters running around solving mysteries. You don't need to reboot that. It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You don't really need to call the new movie a reboot. It's just another kind of iteration. At least with that one, there is an origin story that they're recreating. There's no origin story for Scooby-Doo. It's just a bunch of people and a dog in a van.
Yeah.
Probably smoking a lot of pot and doing a lot of stuff
It's pretty
people
much
don't know about.
It's pretty much the epitome of Monster of the Week television show, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't even reboot it. Just make a CGI film and move on with your life.
I agree, but it's so unfortunate that Casey Kasem passed away because, I mean, people can imitate the Shaggy voice pretty well, but...
Zoinks! I can't do it.
Matthew
Well, no, I don't
Lillard
mean
was
us.
the only thing I actually liked.
He did very good.
He
yeah.
did.
He did very
Actually,
good. I watched it a lot with my kids, but I liked the first movie and I wouldn't say quite a bit, but I liked it. But I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan. I love Scooby-Doo. The cartoon, not whatever the movie was for. The second one was awful. Just like
I never saw that one.
they just went off the edge of a cliff and just the biggest cliff you've ever seen because it just kept falling. Like
Really?
the entire movie. Yeah, it was awful.
I like the Scooby-Doo parody that Kevin Smith did in Jay and Silent Bob Strike
Yes,
Back.
that was pretty good. Very good. One of the few times the dream sequence worked.
Mm-hmm.
The NWA.
What does that stand for? No, moving on.
Nope. You know what, Justin? I don't know. Why don't you Google it and we'll wait. You can explain it to the rest of us. But the NWA is coming out with a film based on their story. It's called Straight Outta Compton. And it's finally going forward. They've been going back and forth with this for years. The casting's almost complete. They're even talking about Cube's kid getting involved.
Yeah,
Scott?
he's playing Ice Cube.
Yeah, which I think is funny. I mean, his dad's going to be like, can you do the eyebrow? Do it. Now, Scott, you love music, but you don't really like rap.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to? Does this story appeal to you in any way?
Oh, absolutely. Any origin story or biopic about music, I'm all about. Even if it's not a style of music I'm into. We talked about Jersey Boys. I appreciate that music, but I won't pop it on my stereo at home and listen to the Four Seasons on purpose. But I love stories about musicians coming into popularity and seeing how it happens. And obviously, NWA had a great influence on that, and I'm interested to see it. The fact that Ice Cube, I always get him and Ice-T.
Yeah, it's
Ice Cube.
Right.
Ice-T is still on NBC's sex crimes show.
The Law and Order, right?
Yeah, Special Victims Mariska
SVU.
Hargitay Unit.
Special Victims NCIS. Crime scene investigator show.
With The Mentalist.
His son being in it, though, makes me nervous. It feels a little bit like Will Smith pushing Jaden, and I hope he's better than Jaden.
I'm glad you bring this up. That's one point that, not necessarily the same point, but the fact that they're so involved that they're influencing the casting makes me worry that we're not going to get a real clear-cut version of the story that's not tainted.
We're going to hear the story that they want us to
hear. That they
hear.
want us to know.
Right.
Yeah.
The other guy...
Isn't that most of these kinds of biopics, though?
Well, I don't think most of the actual personalities are involved too much when they're...
A lot of them are deceased. And
a lot of them, that's true.
And one of them, in this case, actually had to get the rights signed by his widow.
Right, Eazy-E's widow.
Right, so again, it's...
his story is the most tragic, so I get that, yeah.
Okay. So, I'm really interested to see it. Oh, and the guy that's playing, and I'm sorry, guys, I don't know who's Ice Cube.
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
The guy that's playing Dr. Dre apparently is a
and then another guy that nobody remembers.
Is a classically trained actor. So, he's does Shakespeare theater type stuff. So,
I did not know that.
I'm surprised that
Dr. Dre did?
No. The guy that's playing Dr. Dre.
Oh, the guy that's playing Dr. Okay. I'm like, really? I didn't see that in the Eminem video.
Nowadays, all you want to see. I'm really surprised they didn't go with Michael B. Jordan. He seems to be like the go-to African American actor for this kind of stuff lately.
Like he's just going to do everything now.
Well, between him and was it Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah,
they just seem to be taking up.
He seems like a natural fit. That's all he does is biopics. So
right. So biopic, not biopic.
I'm committing to biopic.
But like you said, I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but I still appreciate where this kind of stuff comes from. We talked about Hustle and Flow. While that's a fictional story, I loved how that whole movie was set up, and that's all about rap music. Whoop that trick. That's not my kind of music. But here's the thing about music biopics.
We're so Caucasian.
Is are we ever going to get a story about a musician or a band that gets their comeuppance that doesn't have a tragic bad ending or doesn't lead to drugs and alcohol? Are there any musicians that just...
Can you think of any that didn't?
That's what I'm saying.
What do you want, an Anne Murray biopic or something?
Anne Murray.
That's no
boring.
fun.
Yeah.
It's like every other Behind the Music episode. There is a pattern, sadly, to all of these stories. There is the creation of the band or group or personality, and then their steady rise to fame, and then their quick fall into drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever, and then hopefully a rise back up again. Never to the same level, but at least to some kind of legitimacy.
That's what I'm saying, is I know the story before I even go into it at some point.
Well, but this one, they rose back from hitting the bottom.
Right.
Cube is bigger now than I think he's ever been. Ride Along was the biggest hit he's ever had. Dr. Dre is, Beats by Dre just sold for like $500 million.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was like $2 billion.
Was it $2 billion? See?
He made a shit ton of money off of Apple.
I believe that's what they wrote on the check. Shit ton.
But let me put it this way, to flip it, I know music and film aren't necessarily the same thing, but would you be interested in 20 years seeing a biopic on, say, George Clooney or Tom Hanks?
I would.
Yeah.
And those are two actors that I think haven't had a struggle with any kind of substance abuse or George Clooney's never even been married, I don't think, right?
Yeah, but I don't really...
I think he just got married.
Did he?
No, I don't know if he's married now.
Or he's engaged.
I don't follow the stuff. I know he used to be married. But
I just want to see a movie that is all about a band making it and then keeping making it. The
Rolling Stones story?
Well, that's not a good example because Keith Richards probably you probably get a contact high being within 10 feet of him.
When he dies, we'll have to burn him and smoke his ashes.
But
as Dennis Leary once said.
And I know that this isn't based on a real band, but That Thing You Do. It's a really fun movie. Mm-hmm. Super fun movie up until the last 10 minutes when the band breaks up, and it just seems like you can't wrap up a music biopic without something tragic happening or it being a sad ending. And
That's rap with a W?
yes, with the W. Can't wrap up the rap.
Just checking.
I can't wait to see this. I'm a big...
Me too.
Well, I can't say that I'm a big NWA fan now, but back when I was in high school, NWA, Public Enemy, all those groups I listened to with a lot of love, and I'm an NWA fan, and I can't wait to check this film out.
Me too. I'm a huge fan. I love 80s rap, and I'm a big fan of Ice-T too. So you can, even though he's a crappy actor, he's a good rapper.
Now Sir Mix-a-Lot needs a movie.
No,
Sir Films-a-Lot.
that's not rap
For
music.
his one hit.
That's not rap music.
Hey! He had a couple of hits.
It's a fun. He's a fun artist, but his music was not deep. It didn't have really.
No.
I got it. You like big asses. We're on board. All right, now we're talking about probably the coolest news for fans of it. Jason Momoa is confirmed now for Aquaman, for the Batman versus Superman : Dawn of Justice / whatever else they want to add to it on the end there. Does this having Jason Momoa cast for Aquaman, does that jazz up that character? And I'll do the and after that. You answer that part first.
It makes it more interesting. Jason Momoa is not the person I would have picked, and I don't know if it's just because, he's a brunette, whereas Aquaman's always been granted you can change hair colors, but when I'm thinking of actors to fill roles, I don't go into it thinking changing those sorts of things. I kind of look for the blonde right off the bat, but I guess I'm so used to him more for his work in Conan and in Game of Thrones that to suddenly put him into a water hero role isn't something I would have thought of, but upon hearing that news and digesting it a little bit and thinking about it, I like the pick. People have often made fun of Aquaman because he's got, kind of silly powers, above and beyond his he has enhanced strength and swimming ability, but his ability to command the animals of the deep isn't exactly a big help when you're fighting things on land or in the air. But having him play that character, to me, hopefully what that signals is that they're not going to, they're trying to amp up Aquaman and make him more of a physical presence that's not just in the water, but above and beyond it. But I'm curious to see what he's going to look like and what that effect is going to be of him in the water, swimming around really fast, and if Atlantis is going to be shown. There's a lot of things still I'm curious about, but I got to say, it's kind of inspired.
Like Batman just throws a hot tub in the back of his Batmobile and he can drive around with him.
Right.
He's just doing laps in the back.
Shaking things up.
He's got to keep his skin wet. Otherwise, he starts to get ashy.
You guys have heard me say on previous shows that I want to see Jason Momoa in more stuff other than that. What was the Stallone movie he did with the axe fight?
Bullet to the Head. I actually like that movie.
And Game of Thrones. He's such an imposing guy. I want to see him do something. Aquaman is not what I wanted to see him do.
That is so... Yeah, it's... Unfortunately, I hate to say it, it's true. Aquaman is not exactly... And I've read the comics. I'm not just speaking because all I know is, what you see on the cover. He's just not that interesting. It's kind of a lame character.
Well, I think like Justin said, he kind of gets a bad rap because of that kind of stuff.
It's a cheesy name, first of all.
Yeah.
That doesn't help. But I agree with you 100%. I think putting Momoa in it, I agree with Justin. I don't agree with you because I actually think this is good for the character, and his career wasn't going anywhere anyway. So,
right.
It's not like he was getting a lot of offers apparently to do anything.
But that's the guy that you always. There was a comedian I used to listen to that always talked about. What was it? Was it the Super Friends cartoon with the? Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice,
yeah,
Aquaman makes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because he can't do shit.
That's pretty funny.
Fun fact, that was Casey Kasem did that voice as well.
Spot on, Casey Kasem.
Do you think Marvel's going to respond with Namor?
No.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think Marvel's too worried about DC just yet.
Probably not.
But they might be. If Nikki Finke's to be believed, and I think her list is actually legitimate, but she released a list of the proposed DC titles, and I think Kevin Smith almost confirmed it on his podcast.
Now, before you go on, can you explain, because I don't have a clue who Nikki Fink is?
She used to run Deadline Hollywood, and they had a falling out.
Okay.
So Deadline is a very respected website. I don't know what happened. I don't care. But she's running her own site. She's very well known in journalism. Some people hate her. Some people love her. One of those journalists. But she usually has pretty good scoops. Of course, she also reported that they were making a gay version of Father of the Bride, and that was wrong. So you never know. But if she's proven to be true, what they're saying is, and the only reason I will speculate, we normally don't do rumors, but Kevin Smith kind of almost confirmed this. So I would say that this sounds pretty accurate. They're going to, well, Justin, why don't you explain it?
Well, they put out a list of the movies that they're going to be releasing and when. And right now the list looks to be that there's going to be 3 DC films in 2016. In May, they'll bring out Batman vs. Superman. In July, they're going to put out Shazam.
Shazam, the Shaquille O'Neal movie?
No, this will be different.
Wow.
And at Christmas, they're going to be putting out Sandman. And then in May of the 2017, they'll actually have a Justice League titled film. In July, they'll bring out Wonder Woman. And then in Christmas, it'll be a Flash and Green Lantern team-up film. And then in May of 2018, Man of Steel 2.
Which makes you believe that Batman vs. Superman is really, I mean, even when they added the title, it kind of makes sense that it's more of a prequel to Justice League and getting everybody on the same team so that they could just start Justice League fresh. It actually makes a lot of sense.
Right. And so this isn't a Superman-focused film. I think you're going to have a pretty well, if I had to imagine, a pretty well even split between Batman and Superman's screen time and then peppering in all these other characters that are going to be showing up. The only Shazam, I'm kind of curious how they're going to handle that one, because in the comics I've always kind of found him to be rather cheesy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he becomes Shazam by shouting Shazam. But the one that really throws me off is the Sandman.
That's a great comic, though.
It's a great comic, but Sandman, it has nothing to do with the Justice League. Nothing at all. So I don't know what their intention is with Sandman. Are they going to try? Now, I know Guillermo del Toro and all them were supposed to be working on a Justice League Dark that had Sandman, that had Constantine, Deadman, and a couple of other characters. I don't know if that's them testing the waters of how that kind of thing might work. But it is kind of like which of these things is not like the other. And Sandman is very much a standout from the rest of these more, flights and tights characters.
The only one I took issue with was Flash and Green Lantern, because I got the Flash series coming out. I don't know how that's going to play into all that. Mm-hmm. But we'll wait and see. Well, let's make sure the list is confirmed before we get too excited or whatever you are
and
about it.
And it is 3.5 years out by the time that Flash and Green Lantern, so who knows what's going to happen between now and then.
That's true.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park.
All right, I am filling in for Brian this week as he is out vacationing. So, miss you, Brian. I'm going to do my best to fill in your shoes here. First up, we've got The Expendables 3. Hold on to your butts. Sylvester Stallone and a huge cast of other 80s action heroes are ready for a third installment of the only franchise to be sponsored by Metamucil. The Expendables 3, which opens on August 15th, once again follows Stallone's Barney Ross and his team as they are now up against the Expendables co-founder, who is now a ruthless arms dealer, Conrad Stonebanks, which is a really cool name, by the way.
Really cool, really bad, one of those.
Who's playing him?
Mel Swastika Gibson.
Other team members include Jason Statham, Jet Li, Antonio Banderas, Wesley Snipes, Dolph Lundgren, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, he's an action hero.
No, I know. I just
yeah.
Well, because of X-Men, I guess.
He's a beast.
Now, Aaron, this seems like a series made just for you, and the only thing I could think to make you want to see this more is if Kurt Russell were in it. Am I close?
Yeah, if Kurt Russell was in, I would have flown to wherever they were filming.
Yeah,
because it would be a collection of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And Dennis Quaid showed up too, did a cameo. Best movie
No.
ever.
I think if Kurt Russell were in it, and you got to go to the premiere and sit next to Dennis Quaid.
Now you're talking, Scott. I like what you think.
Yeah.
This trailer is it. Okay, the first movie I like a lot. I didn't love the first movie. I love the second one. I know Justin didn't like the second one. I don't remember where you stood. Did you?
I thought the first one was okay. I have not seen the second one.
Okay, I really liked the second one. I love the second one. Sorry. This trailer looks like every single thing I wanted the first two movies to be. It seems like all the action is in one movie. I think they have a better action director because some of the stunts look fantastic. That motorcycle stunt, there's a motorcycle stunt where he jumps up a ramp And I know it's ridiculous, okay? I get that it's not logistically possible. But he takes a ramp, rides a motorcycle up it, just to get up to like the 6th or 7th floor or whatever. And it's just an awesome stunt. And that's the kind of stuff. There's a bullet train chase. Awesome stunts. I love it. I'm already giddy. I can't even speak coherent thoughts. That's how excited I am. Is it August 15th yet?
What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It's exactly the kind of movie I would expect these guys to make. I enjoyed the first one, like Aaron said, although the second one was a bit milquetoast, though I did love the scenes with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Is he going to be in the third one?
I don't think so.
I don't remember. Did he die in the second one?
I believe he lost his head over something.
Okay, all right. It looks fine. It looks action-packed. These movies are short on story, high on testosterone, and that's fine. It's not something that I'm personally excited about or giddy over.
No, wait, you were giddy about this a few months ago. Did you get tamed?
I probably swept up in some of the trailer excitement. Honestly, it looks really cool, and I like all the actors that are involved in it. But when it comes to action films that I'm going to get really pumped for, I need a Dinobot in it, or I need a Mission Impossible scene. I need something with a little more story grist. Not to say that the Transformers movies are War and Peace.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
You want the flash on the screen, is what you're saying. You want some flash. You want some pizzazz, some special effects, giant robot.
Maybe I'm such a sci-fi guy that if there's not some kind of genre element to it, I'm not quite as excited. I'm not sure. It looks great, and I'll be there in the theater just to see it. But next to Aaron's excitement, I probably look kind of tepid. But yeah, I mean, I look forward to seeing it.
I'm kind of not in a rush myself. I still have yet to see the second one, which is actually on Netflix streaming, so I can go check that out and see how I feel about it. But I don't even remember the story of the first one.
It doesn't matter.
I just remember lots of gunfire. I think I was listening to it while
that was the story. You got it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
One bullet was angry at another bullet, and then a bunch more got involved.
And then there are a bunch of dinosaurs in the way.
All right, so again, that is August 15th this year. If that one doesn't trip your trigger as much, we also... See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
No Good Deed, which releases on September 12th. This now stars Idris Elba, who... Now, Idris Elba has played a starship commander, a war general, and has even been rumored to be the next James Bond. But in the meantime...
That would be so awesome.
It would be.
In the meantime, we get to see him as a charming yet deranged psychopath in No Good Deed. Elba's Colin invades the home of Terry and her daughter, who have to fight for survival after they offer him assistance when Colin crashes his vehicle and asks to use the phone. Now, Justin, I know you're the world's biggest Pacific Rim fan, but how do you feel about canceling the apocalypse in a thriller instead of a sci-fi film?
I think my biggest problem with this film is that the main character is a very bad guy, and I don't know how interested I actually am in a story about a very bad guy doing some pretty bad things. Yeah, and the fact that it's Idris Elba, an actor that who has played good guys and has played bad guys. I mean, his turn on The Wire, as Stringer Bell, was fantastic. I mean, the guy makes a great bad guy, but to be this psychopath and then just watching his story unfold, I guess I want him to be good. And the fact that he's not kind of turns me off a little bit, but he's also such a compelling actor that I can't deny that I'll be seeing it, though whether it's at the theater or at home, I don't know. But I also have only seen one little trailer, so I don't want to create too many opinions based on that. I feel like I need to wait a little bit.
It also has Taraji Henson in it, she was in Person of Interest, and she's been in a lot of movies. She's a great,
and speaking of
great actress.
Hustle and Flow,
there you go.
She was in that.
She's a great actress. The story does look cliched. I can't even try to change your mind on that. It is pretty cliched.
It does, but you know what I like about the trailer is that I feel that I don't know what Colin's motivation is in the trailer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that's the mystery part of it that is intriguing me to want to see it, because he crashes his car. I don't even really get a sense of what his backstory is or why he's such a badass or whatever. He crashes his car and it seems like he's genuinely looking for help. What's his motivation to invade this house?
I think it's one of those things where you got to see it to understand it. the thing that hooked me is honestly just Idris Elba. I saw Henson in here, and I'm like, well, that's good. I really like her. She's a good actress. But just him being a bad guy can make a cliched movie good. It's kind of like Hand That Rocks the Cradle. That was a stupid plot. But the movie was fun because Rebecca De Mornay was a crazy bitch. And, if you play crazy just enough, it's going to make for a good movie. Fatal Attraction, plot's dumb. But it's a fun movie because Glenn Close is a crazy bitch. And I think Idris Elba is going to be a crazy bitch in this one. I want to see it.
I hope so. Again, that's September 12th of this year. If you'd like to check out these trailers and more, you can also always check out our website, which is thehollywoodoutsiders.com. If you've got a thought or maybe a topic idea, we'd love to hear from you. We actually have a Stump the Hoe question that's submitted by a listener this week, so please keep those coming. Also, our Twitter feed is H_outsider. You can also like us at facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. Or please leave us a message or even give us a text message at 818-81-I'm-a-Ho. That's 818-814-6246. And lastly, we do have an email, and that is feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com.
It's hard out here for a
PM.
I'm sorry, theater.
Theater. I got to tell you, Scott, even though you didn't have the twang, you did get through that at a record pace. Brian never made it that fast through anything in his whole life. And you did a nice job with your...
That's not what Molly said.
You did a nice job with your soothing sex voice. Nice job.
Thank you.
Stump the Hoe.
Stump the Hoe. Every once in a while, we drop a little trivia question where one of us hoes asks the other hoes a question, try to stump those hoes as well as you guys listening. Well, like Scott said, this week we have a listener's question. He's trying to stump us. You guys ready? Now, I know the answer, so I can't participate, so it's Justin and Scott.
It's me versus Justin.
It's hoe versus hoe.
It's a hoe on hoe beatdown.
It's a hoe cage match.
It's a hoe off.
It's a hoe off.
All right. This is what he says. I've been trying to think up a good stump the hoe question since Justin embarrassed me by answering my previous one within 5 seconds. Apparently that was a long time ago, but he holds a grudge.
He got served.
He did. And he gave 5 multiple choices. No, Steven, we have rules, but since you already submitted it, we'll let this one slide, but it won't happen again, you understand? All right.
So basically I'm screwed.
No, you never know. In which 2 otherwise unrelated movies did Michael Keaton play the same character? A, Multiplicity and Gung Ho. B, The Paper and My Life. C, Out of Sight and Jackie Brown. D, Beetlejuice and Mr. Mom. E, Jack Frost and the Dream Team. Justin.
Okay, give me those first 2 again.
Multiplicity and Gung Ho and The Paper and My Life.
Can you run through the last 3 again?
Out of Sight and Jackie Brown, Beetlejuice and Mr. Mom, Jack Frost and the Dream Team.
I'm going to say B.
B, The Paper and My Life. Scott?
I'm going to say C.
C is the correct answer.
God! Fuck!
He beat Justin.
Shit! That was such a guess.
The characters...
I knew it wasn't Multiplicity in Gung Ho because in Gung Ho he was in Detroit, right? He worked
It was an auto.
Yep.
And he was a contractor in Multiplicity. Beetlejuice and Mr. Mom seemed like
Well, yeah.
That was a red herring.
Mr. Mom.
What was the last one?
Jack Frost and the Dream Team.
I figured
the Dream Team's a really good movie. More people should see that one.
I couldn't
Jack
imagine
Frost, not so much.
Jack Frost being the same character in any other movie. So I knew it was B or C.
Yep. The character's name was Ray Nicolette. And bonus question: who wrote the books that those movies were based on?
No idea.
Elmore Leonard.
Oh, Jackie Brown. Fuck. Of course. Yes, it's Elmore Leonard. I forgot which movie.
It's okay. We'll hug it out later.
That's a good question, though. I like that.
Nice job. Nice job.
You, Steven.
Wow, I think he flipped you off under his breath. Now let's go.
It was a good question, and I just fucked it up.
Are you going to take it to heart? You're going to be moping
It's on
around?
me. Nah, it's on me. It's on me.
Let's go to the big screen review. Any new releases? There's 2 of them. 22 Jump Street and How to Train Your Dragon 2. I saw 22 Jump Street. After screwing up an undercover sting operation, and I got to say, they are horrible cops. They are just not good cops. But Cops Schmidt and Janko are thrown back into Jump Street, this time 22 Jump Street, because it's literally across the street. That's actually Scott's favorite joke, I think, of the year.
It's my favorite thing in the trailer.
Basically what they're doing is they're living up to the first film's promise. If you remember, 21 Jump Street ended with Ice Cube telling them, you're going back to college. And that's where they end up. This time, Jenko is played by Magic Mike himself, Channing Tatum. He gets to live his dream as a football jock he was always wanting to be. while Jonah Hill Schmidt manages to infiltrate the art scene with what I would call probably the worst poem scene reading. You know, like those random spit poems they do. What do they call them?
Like beatnik?
Yeah, like beatnik poems. Like, and he does it very So I Married an Axe Murder-ish. Yep,
Whoa,
there you go.
Man.
Oh,
She stole my cat. What's wrong with that?
Now I'm
Exactly.
getting flashbacks from So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yep, that's what I just said. So I Married an Axe
Oh,
Murderer.
did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
if
I
you
don't
were
listen
if you
to
ever listened to me, you'd probably know.
Nah.
Okay, and he also lands like a ridiculously too hot for him college girl, but that's beside the point. Most of the movie
What are
follows
you saying,
that.
fat guys can't get hot girls?
I'm saying Jonah Hill can't.
Oh, okay.
Most of the movie follows that of a formulaic cop sequel. The partners split up. They debate their roles in each other's lives. There's a lot of are they a couple or aren't they a couple kind of humor, which is actually pretty funny. There's a lot of jokes making fun of sequels as well. It's a very self-aware sequel, so they're constantly talking about, well, you up the budget expecting to make more money. How ridiculous is that? You know, that sort of thing. But the problem with that is they also tend to do a lot of the stuff they're making fun of. So a lot of the stuff in them, like seriously, you would have a hard time telling these movies apart from the last one. They're very similar. The jokes are a little different, but the setup and everything almost runs the same. It feels very much the same. I liked 22 Jump Street. I didn't love it nearly as much as the first one. For a movie that seems so observant of what cop sequels usually are, it was really disappointing to see them making the same mistakes in some respects.
Is it like a Hangover 2 style? Same?
Kind of, yeah, I would say so. Because I like The Hangover 2 as well, but it was very repetitive. I mean, a lot of the stuff felt very similar. Channing Tatum is he's great. Janko's dumb. I mean, he's just dumb. He's not a smart guy, but he is so much funnier than Jonah Hill in this movie. And when they're together, they're a great partnership. But as soon as they separate, I think when the Jonah Hill scenes just don't play, Channing Tatum still holds up. You know what I mean? So I think either how he was written, I don't think it's Jonah Hill's fault. It's just how it was written seemed kind of bleh.
I think Jonah Hill is becoming a better serious actor than a comedic actor.
I would agree. I think he didn't really do a whole lot that I haven't seen him do in other movies. Apparently, I need to go back
He
to
was
college.
so good in Wolf of Wall Street, though.
Yeah, he was. And also, Ice Cube, frickin' hilarious in this movie. There's a scene between Schmidt and Cube, and then it's followed up by Janko's reaction to what happened between those two. Those are two of the funniest things I've seen in a movie all year. I swear to God, it is worth going to the theater just for those two scenes. And trust me, there's no way you miss them because they are freaking hysterical. The cop portion of the movie it's in the distant rear view, so tracking down the drug dealers almost seems like they're not even doing it until the very end of the movie because it's all just, their partnership stuff. But overall, it's a fun sequel. It's got a lot of jokes, a little too much repetition, I think. But if $10 is the full price of admission, 22 Jump Street's worth $6.50.
Ah.
Yeah, it's still funny. It's still very funny.
Why are you
Now,
disappointed?
is the next
Why
one
do you-
going
why
to
do
be
you
grad
all-
school?
$6.50 is not bad, Justin.
Now, in my opinion, for me, anything less than a 7 is pretty much rental territory.
Wow.
Hey, I'm just going by, the old, a C, a B, or an A. Those were,
All right.
those what got you through. Everything else was failing. And I mean, 6.5, sure, it's not terrible, but this kind of movie, I want an 8.
Wow.
That's how funny I want it to be.
got
And that's
news
how funny
for
I
ya.
think the first one was.
First one, I agree. I love the first movie.
I got news for you, Justin. A, B's, C's, D's, and F's don't exist anymore. It's all 1, 2, 3, or 4.
You educators screwing everything up. But anyway, grad school, is that what's next?
I think so. Actually, there's a really funny joke about what comes next at the end, and I can't share, but it's pretty funny.
They're not going to go JUCO?
No.
So there's going to be a 23 Jump Street?
Huh? I don't know. They keep saying they don't want to do a third one, but this one's it made a lot of money, but we'll get there. How to Train Your Dragon 2, Justin. How to Train Your Dragon 2.
I saw this one today, so it's still really fresh in my mind. This was written and directed by Dan Dubois. It's based on Cressida Cowell's series of books, How to Train Your Dragon, of course. This one has a lot of the returning cast from the first film with Jay Baruchel as Hiccup, Gerard Butler as his father Stoic, Craig Ferguson, who gets a lot more play in this one as Gobber.
Good.
But it also has some newcomers. It's got Kate Blanchett and Jimon Hansu. Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, as the lead villain. And a complete shock to me, because I didn't look into it, Kit Harington
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
voices a character. And I was watching the film, and all of a sudden I'm like, That's Jon Snow.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Is that Jon Snow? That's Jon Snow. And, of course, I had to stick around to the end to watch all the credits just to make sure. And it was. Kit Harington does a voice in this as well. This is the sequel, of course, to How to Train Your Dragon, where in that first film it was all about Hiccup trying to bring the dragons and the Vikings together. In this film, it picks up about 5 years after that first one ended. Hiccup is now grown up. He's a taller character, more confident. The Vikings and the dragons have been working together for years. And Stoic, who is the chieftain, Gerard Butler's character, wants to make his son the chieftain of the Vikings, but Hiccup chafes at that idea. He would rather be on the back of his dragon, Toothless, out exploring the world rather than running the Viking clan. But then he comes across not only his mother, which you see in the trailers, but he also comes upon a plot by Jamon Hansu's character, Drago, who is putting together a dragon army to take out all of the other Vikings and clans and dragons. It's a good story, and the performances across the board are really well done. These guys, most of them have been doing these characters. This is their second time at it. A lot of them have done other voice work. They're obviously professionals at it. But what I really loved in this one was the storyline, the way that it developed and matured, but also the CGI itself is so seamless and so beautiful. It's really just a wonder to see these dragons flying around in these big airy skies or skating above the water. And then when you see some interesting reveals that add to the dragon bestiary, it recalls some sense of Godzilla and the scale of what's going on, but it's really, really impressive. And I gotta say, by the time it was done, I was really pleased with what I had seen. I felt like everybody got the screen time they needed. Some new characters come in, some old characters die off. It's a good story. It doesn't pander or talk down to the audience at any point whatsoever. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. If we're talking 1 out of $10, I would definitely give this one a 7.5.
Oh, thank goodness! So it's worth going to the theater for.
It's worth going to a theater to see.
Now, did you see it in 3D?
I didn't. Lately I've just felt like 3D has not amounted to anything, and I just didn't feel like paying the extra for it, to be honest. But it was really beautiful, and I could see in some moments where 3D might have added to some things. But no, I went to the cheaper showing, which unfortunately an entire elementary school seemed to also go to.
Oh, you got stuck with kids. You don't even like kids. You don't like people, let alone small people.
Walking in front of me constantly. Ugh.
He would have given it an 8 if it were an empty theater.
Maybe. If it had been an empty theater, I might have
10.
scored it up a little bit.
Might have been
not a 10, not a 10. But it was very entertaining.
I really want to see that, but I have to see the first one first.
That one you kind of do, yeah.
Okay.
If you like the first one, I think you'll definitely like the second one.
And I know you mentioned last time that you felt kind of distracted by Jay Baruchel's voice.
I really do, yeah. Just from the trailers.
Well, it's actually part of the story because he's like an outsider.
Well, it helps personify his character because he's all these other Vikings are big, broad, towering guys, and he's just this slender little dude, and so he is physically unlike them, and his voice just kind of, matches it.
I get it. I definitely want to check it out. Box office. You want to hear how those movies did? 22 Jump Street really just stomped on the previous film. It made $57 million. So that's a huge, one of the biggest R-rated openings ever, R-rated comedy openings ever. How to Train Your Dragon 2, on the other hand, opened with $49 million, which isn't bad, but the previous movie did $43 million. They kind of thought it was going to open a lot bigger, and it did not. So I don't know if they consider that a disappointment. We talked about that a few weeks ago, how it's crazy how many millions are involved, and they still call things a disappointment.
Right.
Well, I think, between 22 Jump Street and Maleficent, How to Train Your Dragon 2 has kind of got a hard row to hoe.
It does, but it's a kid's movie, so it should hold on for a while. Speaking of Maleficent, 18.5 for $163 million total. It's holding up pretty well. It should make about $200 million in the U.S. Now, Edge of Tomorrow, this should make you happy, Justin. Even though it didn't open huge, it only dropped 42%, which is one of the best holds for a movie since April for a big budget movie like this. For a total of $57 million. It's not going to be a huge hit, but it might hold on for a while.
I seriously think some good marketing would have made all the difference in the world.
I agree with that.
Almost every person I've heard talk about Edge of Tomorrow, that is the consensus, that the trailers and the commercials for it have totally sucked and sold the movie that you don't see in theaters.
The Fault in Our Stars, that plummeted.
That star fell.
That star did fall. It did.
It still did really well.
$69 million, or 69% to $14.7 million for an $80 million total. It did really well, but that's a huge. That's worse than any of the That's not worse than X-Men, Godzilla, any of them. That's a huge drop, man.
But still, it cost what, $12 million to make? That movie made.
Yeah,
I'm really happy that movie did well.
Yeah, I am too.
We need more of that kind of, not necessarily for me.
We need more sappy movies that aren't so overly saccharine.
Well, not that, and I think we need more serious story YA adaptations that aren't necessarily supernatural aspects or something like that.
Screw you.
A real story.
I want my Might of Magic in theaters. Let's go.
Well, right, but I mean, it's a real story that's written for a younger audience, and most of the younger stories are silly or have to be magical or have to be dystopian or something like that. I think that it was a real life, down to earth story. So I want to see more.
It's no Titanic.
You make me want to hug you, Scott.
Justin's upcoming attractions.
All right, folks, we have got 3 movies we're talking about this week, all of them opening up on June 27th. The first one, Snowpiercer. Yes, you've heard that right. It is finally getting a release here in the U.S. We've talked about this movie on several occasions. The first time that we talked about it was probably because it wasn't going to be coming here, but yes, it is now coming. Directed by John Hu Bong.
Sure, sounds good.
Sounds good, yeah.
Don't ask Aaron.
What?
Don't ask Aaron.
Yeah, no, we'll get nothing but bad pronunciations. Stars Chris Evans, Tilda Swinton, Jamie Bell, John Hurt, and Ed Harris. In a future where a failed global warming experiment kills off all life on the planet except for a lucky few that boarded the Snowpiercer, a train that travels around the globe where a class system evolves. Aaron, this is one that we have talked about many times. One of our listeners actually saw it in Korea and thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm expecting that we will enjoy it as well, but are you even still interested at this point?
Absolutely. This is probably one of the... I love movies that aren't on everybody's radar. You know, it's always nice to have a surprise or something other people are talking about that you know is not going to be a box office hit. It's not going to be a mega budgeted movie. You know, it's a small movie that's finding a niche audience that love it. That's what Snowpiercer is. I have no misconceptions. This movie is not going to be a huge hit in any way, shape, or form. But I want to see it because everybody I know that has seen it loves it. They either really like it or love it. It's kind of like Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know anybody that knew what to expect from the trailer because the trailer isn't. I mean, it looks like it's Hunger Games on a train. It's really what the trailer looks like.
Yeah.
But everybody that talks about it loves it and says Chris Evans gives a fantastic performance. So I can't wait to see it. It looks like a smart action movie, and that's what I want.
It proves he doesn't have to have a star on his chest to be cool.
Well, I already know it. I think he was great in everything he's done. Cellular, I think, is a very underrated thriller that isn't exactly very smart, but his performance is great in it.
And I talked about the movie a lot, but Sunshine, he was fantastic.
Yeah, Sunshine. See, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Scott, do you want to see it?
I do. It's not at the top of my list, but I'm really excited for pretty much the same reasons Aaron said, and I didn't even know there was that many recognizable actors in it too. You just listed off 5 names that I know, and that's...
Yeah, you would think it would be getting a huge push.
You would,
but it's not. And they're actually putting it on the weekend that other big action movie comes out. I mean, it's almost like they're burying it.
Spoiler warning
that he's going to talk about in a little bit. You're almost just burying it.
Well, I really do kind of feel like they're going to put this movie out in theaters and they're going to hope for the best, but I think they're banking on that it's real money will come in with on-demand and rental. But I got to say, I do want to see this. I love that idea of this one train that just goes around the world and this class system evolving to where people up front are the riches and the haves, and all the people in the back don't have anything, and a fight ensuing. It looks great, and I can't wait to see it. Next up, Begin Again. This is directed by and written by John Carney. It stars Keira Knightley, Haley Steinfeld, and Mark Ruffalo. Oh, and Adam Levine.
Oh, well, now I'm there. Is he shirtless?
Do what?
Is he shirtless?
I hope so, for your sake.
So do I. My heart's pitter-pattering.
A chance encounter between a disgraced music business executive and a young singer-songwriter new to Manhattan turns into a promising collaboration between the two talents. Scotty, you do seem to be our head music movie fan. So what say you? Do you want to see Keira Knightley sing?
Oh, I can't wait. I had never heard of this movie until I watched the trailer for preparing for this podcast. Where did this thing come from?
I told you about this movie a month ago.
Did you?
You and Justin never listened to me about anything. Ever.
Do what?
Ever.
What was that? I wasn't paying attention.
Both of you are jackasses.
I seriously love this trailer. It's got a lot of my favorite movie tropes in it. Obviously, the story of music stars coming to being. Feeling sorry for characters because you feel pretty rough for Mark Ruffalo.
Justin, I just want to point out, I literally sent him a message with the link to the trailer and said, it couldn't be any more up your alley. You got to watch this.
I don't remember that at all. The director of this movie is the guy that did Once, which was one of Justin's flashbacks a while back, and that movie is really good. Oh, it's so good. I can't wait to see this movie. It looks, if that's what you told me, that it could be up more my alley, then you were spot on. I'm all over this one. Can't wait. I like that his first movie was Once, and now this one is called Begin Again. That's kind of funny to me. Once.
Yeah.
I'm just letting the air be dead. Yep.
Okay.
Let's just let that dead air flow.
Justin, what do you think?
I think it looks really good, and I did love Once, so I'm anticipating to like this one quite a bit too. I'm not a huge Keira Knightley fan, so that's one area where it depending on how well she carries off the role of a singer will greatly determine how much I probably end up liking the film. But I do like Mark Ruffalo quite a bit. And yeah, I mean, a movie with this kind of storyline is kind of right up my alley.
That singing voice does not sound like her at all. I will be shocked if it's actually her.
I would be too. I think Ruffalo, you'll probably hear him.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he doesn't he want to be a musician, or he is a musician in real life or something? I think he's got a band. I don't know. I could be making that
He
up.
looks like he'd be in a band.
He was a music business executive. Disgraced.
Right.
Yeah.
Though we know not why.
I mean him, the person, not the character. I think Ruffalo is.
I know.
Yeah, he's in a band.
They're all in a band.
He's in a band called the Hulks.
Really? Well, you're just going for it on every chance you get, aren't you?
Hulk and the Gamma Rays.
Hulk and the Gamma Rays.
I want to see it. It looks pretty sweet.
Time for the reason why Snowpiercer will probably have a one-weekend trip in the theaters. Transformers, Age of Extinction, Michael Bay's fourth Transformers film. Now, this one stars, of course, we've got Marky Mark in this one as opposed to our Shia LaBeouf. T.J. Miller, Stanley Tucci, Kelsey Grammer, John Goodman, Ken Watanabe, Peter Cullen, Nicola Peltz, for those of you who are fans of Bates Motel. She stars in that. Titus Welliver, who played the Man in Black in Lost, though Brian's not here to grumble at that mention of the show. An automobile mechanic and his daughter make a discovery that brings down the Autobots and Decepticons and a paranoid government official on them. I gotta say, people love to hate on Michael Bay. Fuck them. People love to hate on the Transformers films. Fuck them too. I am an unabashed Michael Bay fan. I think that what he does extremely well. In fact, I can't think of a single film of his that I hate. The closest I come is probably Pearl Harbor with my apathy towards it. But he has made so many films I adore. I cannot wait to see finally the Dinobots brought into the Transformers cinematic universe. And I'm really curious to find out who this big Transformer bad guy is. I've heard rumblings of who it might be. I would be surprised if it is. Yet, I got to admit, my geek nipples get a little tingly when I think about it. Aaron, what do you think? Are you wanting to see the Age of Extinction?
I do want to see it. I'm just not as excited as I wish I was.
Yeah, same here.
And I guess I should preface, I love the first movie, hate the second one, like the third one. So I'm not against the Transformers anymore. I actually like the Transformers. And I like Michael Bay. His stories aren't necessarily deep, but they're usually entertaining. In fact, we forgot to mention one of his movies last week with Harry Stamper and Movie Dads. We should have. Nobody mentioned Harry Stamper. Shame on all of us.
Wow.
Oh, and he made me cry too.
Best deep core driller in the world.
Come on, Grace.
You have to break that promise.
Anyway,
I'm going to cry.
back to Transformers. I guess, I think...
Can you imagine if Bruce Willis showed up?
in his NASA suit? That'd be perfect.
Took me a while to get here.
Yeah, he's riding a Transformer. I just got home.
That's what that asteroid was. It had all the Transformers in it, and he blew it up, freeing them.
Thank you, Michael Bay.
I would
honestly say that it might be the Mark Wahlberg edition. I really think that might have been what made me not excited. I don't know. He's been everywhere the last couple of years, so just seeing him doesn't do anything for me at all. And I'm not saying I liked him in Lone Survivor. I thought he was great in that. He's just not my go-to action hero for stuff.
I'd take him over Shia LaBeouf, though.
I always like Shia LaBeouf. I think Shia LaBeouf is a douche, but I liked him in the movies. I did.
Yeah. I will say that I don't buy that the girl that's playing his daughter is young enough to be his daughter.
I do. I'm roughly Mark Wahlberg's age, and I can tell you, yes, it's possible.
Well, he carries his age well.
Oh.
She was born in
Ouch.
1995.
Ouch.
95.
Yeah, that would
So
make her
she's
19.
not even 20 yet.
Yeah, she's not even 20.
So yeah, she could be his daughter.
She could be, but she looks a lot older.
Or his girlfriend.
She's legal, and she's cute.
Anyway, let's get back on topic. Scott, do you want to see it?
I do, but more for the spectacle than for...
I mean, that's all these movies are for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going for high art, you're wandering into the wrong theater.
Fair enough.
I mean, go see Cloud Atlas if you're looking for high art.
Oh, Jesus. You never miss that window, do you? Just jump right through.
No.
Now, why do you... I understand that you're excited, you want to see Dinobot and everything else, but what makes this movie any different from the previous three other than the Dinobots? It's pretty much just the same thing, right? There's not really any major change up of the plot or the locale or anything. I mean, it's all just, it's America and something bad happened, Transformers got to save it, right?
Yeah. What's not to like there?
Well, because I kept hearing rumbles that they might take things to Cybertron for this movie, and from the trailers I've seen, that's not the case. Am I hearing that right?
Well, I mean, but who knows what they're not showing? Maybe they're making good trailers that maybe aren't revealing some of those really cool things. It could happen, it could not. I think what I like about this is it seems like the whole Autobot Decepticon war thing is taking a backseat to a greater threat that's coming in, and maybe coming in from Cybertron. It looks like it's a slightly, I don't want to say darker, but maybe a slightly more mature direction with it. It's not about a young kid hiding the fact that he's got a badass Camaro that, transforms into a robot with his too hot to really be his girlfriend. It looks a little darker, a little grislier. I'm just looking forward to it. Anytime I can see gigantic robots rampaging around on a screen, I'm there.
Absolutely.
They're not fighting, monsters, but still, it's giant robots.
We're aware. We know you'll be there.
All right, guys. Well, of these three films, Snowpiercer, Begin Again, and Transformers Age of Extinction, which are you most likely to go into a theater and be checking out? Scotty?
This is a hard one because my favorite movie of the three is Begin Again, but I'm more apt to see Transformers in the theater.
Now, I have to ask, if you know that either I or Brian or Aaron will cover that for a review, do you feel like that maybe frees you up to see Begin Again and bring that to us, and then maybe just see Transformers
I could.
after? Or
I could
see them both.
See them both, yeah. I'll have a little more.
Aaron?
Snowpiercer. What?
So does that change your pick?
I mean, if I were being...
Wow.
I don't know.
It's not that hard a decision, man.
Well, I mean...
What movie do you want to see the most?
I want to see Begin Again more.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And that's your answer.
There you go.
Aaron?
Snowpiercer.
I'm going to go with Transformers Age of Extinction.
What?
So,
what?
I love those
I am
fucking movies.
floored. I am floored. Did they name one of the Transformers Gypsy Danger? Is that what happened?
Oh, God. No, dude. Oh. got a little excited there. No, I love Snowpiercer. I think it's going to be a great film, but I think that it's been so long in thinking about it and wanting to see it that in my mind, I've already kind of put it in that download column.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And Begin Again is definitely a rental. I'm sure it'll be great in theaters, but that an intimate movie like that, I actually would prefer to see on my couch. So there you go. We covered all 3 movies. I don't know if we've ever done that before, but there is no consensus. So it should be an interesting review week.
Ooh. Dun, dun, dun. Where you can hear us, you can listen and subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, and a review on iTunes. Reviews actually help the show a lot. So if you could take 5 minutes and go on iTunes and leave us a review, that would be great. Helps with placement and all those things that none of us really understand. Or you go through our RSS feed at thehollywoodoutsider.com. There is a new episode every Thursday.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week we play ours or a listener-suggested clip from a movie. And if you think you know what that clip is, you email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. And next week we'll give you a proper host shout-out. Last week's answer was Justin's pick, and it was Kill Bill Volume 2.
Nailed it.
Scott's very proud of himself because he nailed it. The people that got it correct, and we're probably given, some people didn't put the volume, and there's a lot of misconceptions.
You said.
I know, but hey, it is what it is. So, Sandy Koki. Nah, it's nothing. It's just fine print, man. Just fine print. Oh. Sandy Koki, Wally Kulik, Linton Bowers, Sean McGuire. Congratulations, guys. This week it is my pick. So if you think you know what this clip is, feedback at thehollywoodoutsider.com to get a proper host shout out. And this, my friends, is what a classic is.
The toxin is affecting them?
Are those people killing themselves?
You were with it, Private. What do we do?
We need to do something.
Just let me think.
They're dying.
I need a second. They released it? We're not near the road.
We can't just stand here as uninvolved observers.
I need a second, okay? Just give me a second.
We're not going to be one of those assholes on the news who watches a crime happen and not do something. We're not assholes.
Just a second.
There were children in that room. Elliot, please tell us what to do.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Now we're going to go to the couch to talk about TV and home video news. First thing, Cameron Crowe is developing a new Showtime show called Roadies. What the hell is Roadies?
When I heard this news, I couldn't have been more excited for it. Cameron Crowe is responsible for some of my favorite movies of all time. Jerry Maguire and Singles, those two alone would be enough to put him in my upper pantheon of writer-directors, but Almost Famous is fantastic, and I loved his adaptation of Vanilla Sky. So when I hear that he's going to be doing a TV show, I'm instantly interested. The fact that this show will probably be influenced quite a bit by his experiences when he was a Rolling Stone magazine reporter back in the 70s, which Almost Famous took a lot from, it makes it even more so. It's called Roadies. It's going to be taking place during a U.S. rock tour. I don't know if it's going to be current day rock tour or something in the 80s or the 70s. If I had my druthers, I would love to see it be a 70s or an 80s tour as opposed to something current. But we don't know the time frame of that yet. But he will be creating this for Showtime. I'm very, very excited. There's been no casting yet for this. So really all we've got is a title and the premise and the bare bones one at that. But even so, I'm really excited.
Are we sure there's no cast? I thought I read Bradley Cooper and Emma Stone.
No, they're in a film that he's doing right now that's going to be released later this year.
Oh, my bad. I'm with you though. I am so stoked to see this. I mean, what made Almost Famous so awesome was it was on his direct influences, like you said. That actually was his story. That stuff actually happened to him. So he's got a lot of experience in the music industry, and I think he'll be able to bring that through in this. I can't wait. I, on the other hand, want to see it set in modern time instead of like in the 70s or 80s, but I think it would be cool to do a band from that era in today's time period.
Trying to hold on to that glory, maybe?
Right, like maybe
yeah, I could see that.
Like maybe the Rolling Stones or something like that. You know, I mean, I don't know whether bands are still around from that time, but I think that would be more interesting than just going back to the well in the 70s or 80s like most other movies do.
Or maybe an older band trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, like Kiss.
Huh. Yeah, there's so
happening.
many ways that this could be done really well and really interestingly. So we'll just have to wait and learn more, but color me excited.
You think they'll go fictional band, or do you think they'll go actual band?
I'm sure it'll be fictional. I don't know. Maybe Stillwater will get to come back.
Maybe they'll have a band called Haywire.
Dear, don't tease me.
Dear Lord, man. Dear Lord. Well, I'm not as huge a music fan as you guys, so I'm sure you're much more excited. But I do. Did you say J.J. Abrams is involved in this too?
No.
I could have swore I saw his name attached in some way, but that could be.
No.
Maybe I saw a lens flare when I was reading it. I don't know. Well, in addition to Scooby-Doo on the big screen, there's 2 cartoons that are being revived, and I was actually shocked with how many people got excited over this. So that's why we're mentioning it, because I didn't know so many people would be so excited. Danger Mouse and the Powerpuff Girls are both coming back to television.
This seems really reaching for me. I'm shocked to hear you say that people are really excited about this.
People were going apeshit.
Danger Mouse
over the Powerpuff Girls specifically.
Danger Mouse is one of those weird like Nickelodeon cartoons, wasn't it? Like,
I don't really know Danger Mouse. I honestly don't.
It's one of those shows that I remember watching a couple episodes as a kid that I thought was just kind of bottom of the barrel, not super. Again, this is just my perception. I don't know. It's like a more obscure cartoon that I feel very few people watch regularly.
Didn't he used to sing like "Here I come to save the day"?
No, that was Mighty Mouse.
That's
Mighty
Mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Danger Mouse was the mouse that wore like a patch over his eye.
What did Underdog do?
Underdog was there's no fear. Underdog is here.
Okay.
Whatever. No, Danger Mouse had this catchy theme. He wore an eye patch. There was something with the big black cartoony bombs, and he had a little like dog partner or whatever.
Okay.
And the rumor that I read on the Twitter sphere was that Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman were going to do the voices of those. If they did that...
Oh, shit. Now I'm actually going to have to be interested.
Again, that's huge rumor. I have nothing to base that on other than Twitter rumor. So, like, it was more like if that happened, people were saying that they would get really excited about it. So,
wow.
I have nothing to back that up. As far as Powerpuff Girls, I've literally never seen an episode of that. That's one of those... Those are cartoons that came out after I was in my 20s, and I watched that I see it on Cartoon Network or in commercials, and I'm like, what the hell happened to cartoons? That's like my perception of it.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. I don't have any kids. I don't have any daughters.
You sure?
No.
I like how you separate kids and daughters.
Well, I don't.
Different things.
This doesn't seem like a show that a lot of younger boys would be super interested in.
I think you would be wrong.
Oh, dude, if they can get into My Little Pony, I think they can get into Powerpuff Girls.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of people
bronies
that are.
Yeah, maybe they'll be Power Buff. Maybe that'll be their name.
I know their names. They're Bubbles, Buttercup, and what's the other one? Bubbles, Buttercup, and some other B word. Shit. Shit.
Brickle?
Yeah, Brickle, whatever.
How the hell do you know that?
My
Not
daughter.
you. You have a daughter. Justin's like, my dog likes it.
I used to have Powerpuff Girls all over this damn house. Man.
I was just guessing. I don't know if those are their real names. I've never actually watched the show.
Really?
No, I mean, that came out in that period where it looked like Flash animation.
Yeah.
And I'm just not a fan of Flash animation cartoons.
It just seems
I think
very
Archer
cheaply made.
is as close as I can get to that and still really enjoy it.
I got to tell you, it was a fairly smart show. It was a fairly smart show. Like, I know people give it a lot of flack because the Powerpuff Girls just sound stupid, but and it was Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
There you go.
I'm sorry that
All I know is Scud watched it on Blade 2.
See? If Scud watches it, it must be good. Mm-hmm. All right, now, did you see that? That is, every once in a while we talk about either a movie or some TV show that it came across to us, or it's a new thing or something else. But there's a movie that came out a while back and I think just landed on home video, right? Or it's on demand right now?
I think it came out on home video about a month ago.
Okay, well, even though it's a little bit older, we did want to talk about it because Justin really hit him hard, and that is Her. So what is Her?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, it's written and directed by Spike Jonze. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, the voice of Scarlett Johansson, Chris Pratt, and Amy Adams. And it's a science fiction story set in a very near future where a lonely writer develops a unlikely relationship with his newly purchased operating system that's designed to meet his every needs via artificial intelligence. I had put off seeing this movie for a long time because I'm not a big Spike Jonze fan, and I was afraid it would be one of those films that had a high concept but really failed to ultimately deliver on that concept. And by the time it was over with, I almost wanted to watch it immediately all over again. It was, for me, a very emotionally impactful movie. I mean, you never see Scarlett Johansson at all. All you hear is her voice and him carrying around what kind of looks like a cell phone camera out of his pocket as he, kind of shows her the world he lives in, and her personality develops over the course of the movie. And the relationship develops, and it's one of those movies that asks some difficult questions. I mean, he falls in love with a piece of software. Is that something anybody could see themselves doing? Probably not. But then you watch this movie and you see his relationship with this AI and how they both develop over the course of months. And the question becomes harder to answer because in so many other ways, she seems like a person and she develops these quirks, and it's really a beautiful movie. And I got to say, it's one of the few movies that I've seen that really reached deep into a core part of who I am, and in some ways changed who I am a little bit, affected who I am. And that doesn't happen often. I mean, Cloud Atlas did it. Dead Poets Society did it, and this film did it. I give this a perfect 10. I adore this movie, and I so look forward to getting to watch it again in the future. I don't want to, watch it too often because it's something you should just, take it in and then breathe it a little bit, think about it. But Scotty, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it quite a bit as well. What I really appreciated was the main character. When you look at even like the poster of this movie, it just looks like it's just dripping with melancholy, and it is. But the character does it in such a believable way. He's not mopey. He knows how to interact. He interacts with other people on a normal level. He's not a super loner. He doesn't keep himself distanced from everybody. He's a normal guy. Emo. Right. Exactly. He's not emo. He's a friendly guy. He gets along with everybody he talks to. He's not super distant, and I really appreciated that because I believe there's a lot of people like that it worked really, really well. I found myself, and this may sound weird, but there's a couple of times I watched it a little bit late at night and my eyes started getting heavy, and I found myself closing my eyes and actually listening to the conversations between Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. And there was like a weird comfort about just listening to the two of them converse back and forth. I know it sounds really strange, but just the conversations felt so real. Like you were just listening in on a real phone conversation that was very, very touching.
I was kind of hesitant because I'm not a Spike Jonze fan, so I put it off, even though I've heard a lot of raving reviews about it. It's really hard for me because I've been burned by him a couple times. I think adaptation is not good. I really thought B. John Malkovich was overrated. He just sometimes I think he gets more clout for being quirky than he does for actual good story. But everything I've heard about this, even from people that are skeptical, seem to enjoy it.
Give it a shot. Just go into with it knowing you have to check your brain at the door in the aspect that he's having a relationship with an AI.
No, I get that. That makes sense.
You know what I mean? So
I could actually see the realism in that. In today's society, hell, Scott, you look at your phone more than you look at me, so I get it.
Are we dating?
No, I'm just saying.
Sometimes we wonder. I will say a special shout out though to Scarlett Johansson. Using just her voice, she portrays more emotion and humanity and just acting than a lot of people do when they've got their full bodies. It's incredible what she was able to put through, and I found myself falling in love with her character because of her voice and the way she says things. And it's really interesting because in the movie, Theodore, played by Joaquin Phoenix, he'll even comment on why did you say it that way? You know, and she's like, well, I don't know. And you see this development of her.
Yeah, she actually grows as a
and
character,
it's so beautiful. It touched me in ways that very few movies do.
And from a sci-fi aspect, her growth becomes a very interesting aspect of the story,
yes,
too.
I did not see that coming.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
All right.
See the film. It's magnificent.
I would give it an 850.
Justin gave it a 47, I think.
I did.
Let's go to DVD and Blu-ray, Scott.
We're looking for releases on June 24th. First up, 300, Rise of an Empire. This is the sequel to the Gerard Butler film that, spoiler alert, doesn't star Gerard Butler.
What? He didn't win? I guess I'm not going to bother watching that movie.
This one follows Themistocles as he fights the Persian forces led by Xerxes and Artemisia.
That's the emo king, right? That's the guy that wears all the eye makeup.
The earrings and, the gold paint or whatever. That's Xerxes. Artemisia that's Justin,
Ava
you saw
Green.
Ava Green, right?
Ooh, all right. The movie just got better.
She is powerful.
Yeah. Justin reviewed that on episode 133 where he gave it a $7. Next up, Winter's Tale. This is the one, a burglar falls for an heiress as she dies in his arms. When he learns that he has the gift of reincarnation, he sets out to save her. This movie got reviewed horribly, and I still find myself curious to see it.
I really thought you and Justin were both going to see this.
Well, I think
after I heard the savaging
Yeah.
this movie got.
I fully intended to see it in the theater, and then the reviews just really turned me away. But now that it's on disc, I'm probably going to check it out just to see how bad everyone's talking about it. So, Wolf Creek 2, which I don't remember the first one, but Aaron said it was really good.
It's a really good little horror movie, yeah.
I mean, listen to this premise. Justin, have you seen the first one, the first
No.
Wolf Creek? Tell me that this doesn't sound like it belongs to
Crocodile
straight to
Dundee's a
DVD.
serial killer, man.
The Outback once more becomes a
I don't
place.
know what that was.
It was my attempt at the
Yeah, it
Crocodile
wasn't that
Hunter. It
good.
didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of knife.
The Outback once more becomes a place of horror as another unwitting tourist becomes prey for the crazed serial-killing pig hunter, Mick Taylor.
Yeah. It's like Crocodile Dundee is a fucking serial killer. It's what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly,
I said it so much quicker.
Enemy. A man seeks out his exact look-alike after spotting him in a movie, that stars Jake Gyllenhaal.
I've heard nothing but rave reviews about that, so I'm really curious what that even is.
That concept sounds really interesting.
I'm like, very interesting. Not as cool as, crazy Crocodile Dundee Hunter, but whatever. And so I expect one of you guys is going to watch Winter's Tale soon?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Thank you.
Oh, you're not even going to give it a shot?
No, fuck that movie.
Wow. What if
After
you liked
hearing
it?
what they said on how did this get made, it just sounds like a train wreck. I love myself and my time too much to waste it on what sounds like is 2 hours of nothing but incredible shit.
You have more elk to kill in Assassin's Creed?
I've got more Assassin's Creed 3 to play, yes.
All right.
There are gamers that are screaming at their radios right now.
Creed got a shout out. Let's go to From the Outside In, where we talk about a topic that's on ours or our listeners' minds. And this week, in honor or in lieu of Transformers, we're talking robots. Why are we talking about robots? Because it is Transformers Week. For decades, movies and television have celebrated the possibilities of robotic AI, ranging from terminating weapons of mass destruction to just a simple servant for lazy white people. Why, Justin, Mr. Sci-Fi Guy, why do people love robots?
Oh God, I mean it's kind of a deep question because in a lot of ways robots can represent the more innocent aspects of us, of us as human beings, but they can also represent the worst aspects of us, our apathy to one another, our inability to understand and sympathize with each other, the coldness that sometimes we humans can use against each other. But they're like a blank canvas on which we can paint almost anything we want, because we've had robots that, were a little more than beady rolling around machines
I love Twiggy.
To fully skinned and emotional filled androids. So there's almost nothing you can't do with them, and they can be anything you want them to be. And I think for a lot of people, that's, they represent an uncertain future. And, as many times as robots have been helpful, they've also turned against us. And I think they really represent the unknown aspects of ourselves and how scary sometimes that is.
I think people at their hearts really kind of want those robots to exist now. And seeing them in movies kind of fulfill that fantasy of having a buddy that's nothing more than a machine. You know, so I mean, the early ones were very, boxy.
Are those your favorite kind? Like the friendly robots and not the angry, bitchy ones?
Yeah. I mean, the ones that are where you kind of, I mean, we just talked about the movie Her, where you're having a conversation with something that doesn't really actually have life. You know what I mean? And you
but
feel like,
does it, in a real philosophical question, does it really not have life? Because it is technically thinking on its own. It's acting of its own volition at that point. Isn't it somewhat alive?
Well, but is it aware? And I think that's the one criteria that you really have to meet in order to be called, quote unquote, alive. Are you aware of your existence amidst the rest of the universe or in the universe? And if you're aware, then with that awareness, I think does come a semblance of life. But just because a robot can walk around via a programmed set of instructions doesn't make it alive. It has to know what it's doing and maybe why what it's doing.
I thought about this a lot today, and I came up with, my opinion is we are, as people are divided into two groups. There's one
people
group
that love Kurt Russell and people that don't.
No, there's only one group there. People that love Kurt Russell and everybody else is wrong. Group one is kind of where I think man is afraid of their own genius. They're afraid of their own creations, kind of like the Frankenstein thing. You know, that's going to come back and bite me in the ass at some point. And so there's that paranoia inherent in us where so much of robots on film or television facilitate our deepest fear that we will ultimately create that thing that will destroy us. That we like that. We see that. We see that as potential. We see that as a possibility. We see that as realism, just waiting to happen. Group two is where man is just really lazy. Just really lazy. We just don't want to have to do anything. You know, pretty much anything. We hate manual labor, and all we want is to be completely entitled, sit on our little thrones, and have Twiggy bring us ice cream and coffee all day while we watch TV.
So Wall-E the movie.
Yeah. That's honestly, those are the two groups I saw. I see people that see the technology that we're making and creating, and they are deeply afraid of it. So some movies serve that person, where they have the dystopian life, or they have robots are going to come back and, you know, the Matrix life, and they just enslave everyone. Or you have the people that finally, I won't have to get off my ass forever again. Justin's in both groups. He wants, he thinks, yes, the machines are going to take over,
the Venn
but
diagram.
Until that happens, I want my ice cream and coffee brought to me on the couch.
Chop, chop.
Those are my theories. And I think robots, I think we also get to have that feeling that we have accomplished something. We have played God, you know, and even if you don't believe in it, we have been able to create a form of life ourselves. And I think for some people, that's huge to have that. I don't know. How do you phrase it?
God complex?
Yeah, the God complex. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, though, is, you know, just the idea of robots have been with us since before we even had an idea of robots. I mean, look, you mentioned Frankenstein. Frankenstein's basically a robot.
He is.
Or if you look at the Jewish tradition of the golem, a golem is basically a robot. It's a being created of unliving things and then given life. And almost invariably, those creations do turn on us, or they have an inherent danger within them that usually bites us in the ass. I do think you're right. It's that whole being scared of our own creation and it turning on us.
And it will.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Enough movies have said so.
It's going to happen.
It has to happen.
We're going to wake up and sentinels are chasing us around.
Until the zombies come, and then we sick them on the zombies.
Ooh, zombies versus robots. That's a sci-fi movie waiting to happen.
I'm pretty sure sci-fi is already on. Got to have done that by now.
They're already on it. They're like, we're on part 3, man. We just haven't aired it yet. Now, 20 years ago, this concept seemed pretty much fiction, and now we just keep getting closer and closer to it every day. I mean, our phones are almost fully functional computers at this point, and they have fully functioning AI, most of them. Do you think we'll ever get to the point where we have a fully functioning, self-contained robot in our lifetime, Scott?
I believe so, but I'm also very optimistic about technology. I don't know about the whole robots having emotions aspect or the robots questioning their existence, like Justin was talking about, being aware. But with the technology things we've got now, I mean, look at our voice recognition software, our facial recognition software. Wasn't the one computer that was on Jeopardy and beat everybody in Jeopardy a while ago? I mean, it's almost scary, and that's one of the stuff that we see. You know what I mean? There's so much technology and development that we that are behind closed doors that aren't in the public eye.
The man is working on it?
Yeah, I mean, I sincerely believe that like in 20, 30 years, we'll be shocked. I mean, look at 20, 30 years ago now. If you would have given someone 20 years ago our cell phone,
you will have everything you need at the tip of your hands in this tiny little thing. We would have laughed at them and said, "Man, this ain't Back to the Future."
Yeah, it would be like that. Yeah, maybe in 100 years or something. But you never would have even considered that in 20 years we're going to have all this. What's our technology going to look like in 20 years? It doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility for me. I'm not, and I don't mean that like I'm not afraid of it. Like a lot of people are like, "Well, the machine's going to take over, and it's making us lazy and all this kind of stuff."
It is. It is.
So. I'm excited about it. I think it's a real possibility, and I can't wait.
Well, for me, and I will not go political on this. My biggest fear with the continued development of robots, and not just robots, but any kind of mechanical creation that we can use to put another layer of separation between us and the people that we fight, I think is a very dangerous road to go down. Sure, it's nice to know that, Johnny down the street who just joined the Marines may not be killed because a robot took his place on the battlefield. But how do when we remove the humanity, when I don't have to see the person I shot and see the life go out of their eyes, when it's done by remote control, or when it's just handled by a machine where we don't even have to tell it to kill a particular person, what does that make us? And what does that mean for our future as a species when we can just kill each other with some piece of metal that we don't even have to talk to? That is what frightens me, is that we will lose a bit of our humanity and that war will just become something that happens far away from us, and that we don't have to pay a price for it beyond just the monetary value of the machines we roll out there.
And also, we'll probably have an Austrian accent.
I hope so. I mean, because that's the scariest fucking accent of them all.
I'm telling you, if NASA or somebody's working on that horrible device, make it have an Austrian accent. Call Arnold Schwarzenegger and have him voice dub that shit right now before he's gone. Now let's get into the movie portion of it. There have been quite a few, my friends, but who, in your mind, has been the worst to ever play a cyborg? Whoever's first can go. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, mine may not be fair because I think it might be more that I didn't like the movie, but I really did not like Robin Williams in Bicentennial Man.
I never saw that.
I will tell you, that is probably one of the most polarizing ones. I've heard people say they love it and people say they hate it. I haven't heard an okay on that one.
I mean, you go to see a movie about a robot that looks like Robin Williams and you expect it to be nothing but comedy, and that movie couldn't decide if it wanted to be a comedy or if it wanted to be a serious movie.
It was a little over the place. Yeah.
It just couldn't figure it out, and I felt like I was looking. I wish they just would have made Robin Williams a robot instead of putting him in a robot suit that looks like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was so distracting, and everything about that movie just bored the tears out of me. I felt like it was 45 minutes too long. But him, like I said, you go to see a Robin Williams movie, at least when that movie came out. You go to see a movie with him in it because you want to laugh the whole movie. Mm-hmm. And I felt kind of duped. Now, not to say that you can't see a serious movie with Robin Williams, but I want to go into it knowing that's what I'm going to see. So.
I think you just got an issue with dramatic Robin Williams unless there's teaching involved.
No, I really don't, because like even like Mrs. Doubtfire, which is obviously a straight up comedy, but when he acts in that movie and plays
it's a drama on cross-dressing. The effects it has on children. Sorry.
When he acts in that movie, though, I totally bought him as a father that loved his kids and would do anything to be with them. I bought it. I didn't really buy him as a robot. I just felt like I was watching Robin Williams trying to be serious when he was actually being funny.
Yeah, I gotcha. What about you, Justin?
Well, the wording of this question kind of gets my sci-fi geek back up, because a cyborg technically isn't a robot. A cyborg is a person that's just had machine parts put in them. But I know what you meant. So I got to go with Christina Loken from Terminator 3. I thought she's very pretty, but she is a terrible actress, and I did not think she should have been in that movie. I think there was a lot of actresses that probably could have done a much better job as a robot rampaging around. I didn't care for her much at all.
Really? I'm kind of surprised. I thought that was probably the best acting I saw her do. That's
well,
not saying much,
granted,
but...
the breadth of her performances, that's not a high bar to cross.
I agree.
Even her good... if that's her best, it's still woefully beneath a lot of other actresses.
It did feel like she was trying way too hard to be Robert Patrick.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she had a
the
death
whole
stare.
stares and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there have been a lot of robots over time. What stands to you as the most creative implementation of that concept in film or television?
For me, it's the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, the Cylons in that series, because they really covered a broad spectrum of robot types. You know, they had the Sentinels, the toaster version, which were purely the robot warriors, but then you get into their Raider starships and the base stars, which are part machine, part organic, and then you go up into the 12 Android versions, which really have just a full range of emotion and self-awareness of what they are. There's all sorts of, if you watch the show across its run, there's all sorts of questions asked about, their ability to reproduce and why it didn't work for so long and why now. They're actually a monotheistic religious group believing in one God, whereas the humans in Battlestar were polytheistic. And so there's even that question of religion and can a robot believe in a supernatural being? It's a really just a cool, deep look at robots and how they're the children of humanity, and as they are wont to do, turn on us, and their relationship with the last of the humans leaving, trying to find Earth. I loved it. There's
a little lesser known movie that I really like called Moon that had a robot.
Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell.
I don't call that a robot. To me, that's just an AI.
Well, no, but he had mechanical arms. He actually functioned. He went around and picked up stuff.
Yeah, I guess technically.
So anyway, this being that that we're arguing
I think we should
over.
have a court session right now. Let's figure this out.
Let's email the
He's
writer.
He's certainly more of a robot than Tremors is a...
Yeah, let's email the writer. Let's see that.
Anyway, Kevin Spacey plays the voice of this robot or AI called Gertie, and I really love this character. Imagine a less menacing Hal from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Like almost emotionless in tone, but he actually kind of has some care to him instead of menace. And I just always appreciate it too, because you don't see any actual emotion on him like you do maybe in other, like Justin was talking about with Battlestar Galactica. The actors are actually humans. Mm-hmm. You never see Kevin Spacey. The only hint of visual emotion that you get is a little computer display that always does a cartoon smiley face or frowny face or whatever emotion he's coming across. I found that so clever that you really got an emotional rise between that and Kevin Spacey's vocal performance mixed in with the tone of the movie. Just really worked for me, and it's almost me kind of bringing back that movie because I think I want more people to see that movie. It's very moody, but it's really good.
My pick is actually from a movie I don't like at all. I don't like it at all, and that's Teddy from AI. I am not an AI fan. I really didn't like how the movie ended. I thought the movie was very boring. It just didn't work for me in any way, shape, or form. But Teddy, I thought was a genius creation, and whoever's it was, if it was Kubrick's or Spielberg, whoever created it, I thought it was genius. It's this child's toy. A little stuffed teddy bear.
Oh, okay.
But it had AI. But it would be so deep and thoughtful, as well as it had like this deep-seated refusal to believe that he's a toy.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really liked how they handled that character. I thought the character was beautiful. I could have watched a movie about him all by himself, and I probably would have enjoyed that. I just didn't like the Haley Joel Osment parts.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
It should have ended with him at the bottom of the ocean.
It should have. If
it had ended there, I would have liked it.
Seriously, I remember seeing that in the theater with a buddy of mine, and when that scene came in where he's at the bottom of the ocean talking to the blue fairy, my buddy leaned over and said, as a joke, like 500 years later, like we thought the movie was over, and then it actually was 500 years later or something. I will never forget that.
Oh, that's... Ugh. All right, guys, let's get in happier ones. What are your favorite, most memorable robots in either film or television? We'll go number 3, number 2, number 1. We'll start with you, Scott. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is, spoiler alert from earlier, I love Johnny Five from Short Circuit. Short Circuit 1 and Short Circuit 2.
That's fantastic. We're going to talk to the writer in a few weeks. I'll bring that up.
And I actually had this pick before I knew that. Those movies I watched when I was a kid, so they kind of hold a special place in my heart as far as nostalgia, but just the fact that how goofy that robot looks, and it doesn't look functional at all. Like you don't buy that working in the real world at all. But the way that the puppeteers worked that thing made it look like it was alive and really had emotion with the eyes and the eyebrows and the pupils of the eyes. I don't know. I just felt like I was getting facial expressions from a robot.
That was wonderful magic for that, especially for that time.
For that time, yeah. As a kid, I never doubted that it was that it wasn't alive. You know what I mean?
And Gutenberg was great.
Yeah, he was. The Goot.
Justin, what was your number 3?
We mentioned it earlier, but WALL-E. It's a fantastic little animated movie, and it's a character that really never says a word, but you can read every emotion on its little robot face. And in the little sounds that it makes, and it's a story about us going terribly wrong and getting fat and lazy. And here's just this one little robot who spends God knows how many years just trucking along, picking up trash, making a nice little cube out of it, carrying it off, and then he's spends his evenings watching movies and petting his little cockroach. And it's just for something that's basically a little tin box. It is full of character and laughter and emotion, and I really do love that character.
My number 3, Justin already talked about the Cylons in Battlestar Galactica.
The new one?
The new one. Yeah, yeah, not the old one. Not toasters. They were created, they evolved, they assimilated, they continued this vicious cycle that never seems like it's ever going to end. I mean, it just seems destined to go on forever. And I love that. I love that concept. I love that realization that they pulled off of that show. The ending didn't bother me like it did some people. I actually think it's somewhat clever. I just don't think they pulled it off as well as they wanted to. But I get what they were going for. I've always found that to be a lot more interesting to me than Sentinels in the Matrix or Arnie's Terminator. It's just this continuously evolving life form. I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. What about your number 2?
My number 2 is from one of my favorite comedies, which is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's a little robot voiced by Alan Rickman named Marvin.
Oh, that's funny.
If you could imagine, it's like they took the soul of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh and put him into a little tiny robot with a huge head. And it's just everything was just like, oh, bother. Nobody likes me anyway.
No, it's not.
Yes, have you seen it?
It's been so long I can't remember, honestly.
It's totally Eeyore, though, dude. It's like, not that anybody was listening anyway. But it's Alan Rickman, and he does it so perfectly.
That is too funny.
And he has some of the funniest lines in the movie, too. Just everything he says is just so depressing. You just kind of want to give him a hug. I love that movie, so.
That's pretty funny.
Justin, what's your number 2?
My number 2, R2-D2. I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan from way back in the day, and it's such a cute little robot. He's constantly spunky. Nothing gets him down, even when he's at the bottom of a swamp. He somehow finds a way to whistle while he works and just get on through it. I don't care for the way he was portrayed in the prequels as much, because suddenly he was able to, rocket himself around different places where, I don't know how he lost that ability between the prequels and the original trilogy, but he was a little more of a Swiss Army knife character, whereas in the original trilogy, he was actually a character. And, Luke Skywalker and him were best buds, and I love that relationship. I love that kind of spunky little robot, and damn it, I wish I had one.
So do I.
He could serve me drinks.
On your couch. The number 2 for me is the Iron Giant. If you've never seen it, it's a sweet, sweet cartoon. It's Vin Diesel's best performance, honestly, and it will warm up even a cold, dead heart.
Like yours.
Yeah, like mine. That's why I liked it. And basically what the Iron Giant is he's a giant robot who is programmed to attack or defend himself. I can't remember exactly what the rules were. But essentially, he can't help it. You know, he can't stop the monster he is, and it's a constant battle. He befriends a child, and, you know, there's a story that it just becomes very sweet, and it becomes a concept of what happens to a machine, and with war, and a child, and there's all kinds of emotions. It's a wonderful movie, and Vin Diesel's voice work is, I think, beautiful in the movie. And it's honestly one of the deepest cartoons I think I've seen. So, there you go. Scott?
Well, Justin talked about Star Wars. One of my probably all-time favorite android, or whatever you want to call it, is from Star Trek, and that's Data, played by Brent Spiner.
You fucking fuck.
Wow. Apparently I stole
Wow.
Justin's. Data was just such an interesting character because that was the first time I think I ever really saw a show or movie or anything delve into the aspect of an android having emotions. And that was kind of like hinted at in so many different episodes. He started questioning his own reality, his beginnings, who his...
This is the awareness that Justin was talking about?
You know, who his father was, and the whole aspect of him having an emotion chip that he could turn off and on was just played beautifully, especially in some of the movies. He was so interesting to watch. I love the makeup effects they did with him, where it was just caked on him. But I totally bought that he was a robot. They have little plates on the sides of his head come off, and you could see the little lights blinking, and he'd plug himself in. It's just one of the most interesting and deep characters I had seen on that aspect. Justin, I assume you agree with at least some of that?
Yeah, I mean, Data is my number one choice. What I really loved about that character is that he was such a good analogy for, you know, what it is to be human. You know, is it enough to have the emotion? I mean, in a lot of ways, he was almost like an autistic child. And, you know, there's a lot of people who would say that without the ability of self-awareness or without certain emotional ranges, you're really not much of a human being. And I think Data kind of turned that on its head. But they had so many good episodes where they would test or question Data's, you know, quote unquote humanity. And the episode Measure of a Man was just really a powerful episode to show, you know, how unhuman he was by Riker's ability to just turn him off with the flick of a switch. But then Picard came along and really showed just how human he is. And he's a great, great character. They've handled him wonderfully through the series and into the movies. I don't think I've ever seen a better robotic performance from anybody. I think Brent Spiner did a masterful job.
Great choices. I gotta say, you guys can keep R2-D2. I don't need any robots that bump into shit and make a lot of noises. And Data's cute and all, but he looks like a dude in makeup. I'm gonna take the T-1000. I'm gonna take Robert Patrick, because what I want in a robot is, or in whatever the hell that thing is called, is somebody that is a giant liquid killing machine and can morph into anything he wants to be, and he even kicks Arnold Schwarzenegger's ass in the process. That's my favorite, because that dude is awesome.
Yeah, but you would just have him turn into Selma Hayek and be your sex slave.
Yes, I would, and that is why he would be awesome. And then afterward, he could turn himself into whatever else I wanted.
Just your little fembot. That's what he'd be.
Oh, he would. He would be like an Austin Powers fembot.
Bring in the fembot!
All right, let's talk about some of our listeners' picks. How about that? First up, we've got one from Tammy. She said TV robots Vicky from Small Wonder and Dorian from Almost Human.
I remember Small Wonder.
Yeah, Small Wonder.
I never watched it.
And movie Terminator. Good call. Good call.
I did like Dorian from Almost Human. Once again, Fox, fuck you very much for canceling that fantastic show.
Thanks, Tammy, for bringing that up so we could relive that statement one more time.
Thanks for opening that hurt.
Now let's talk about Facebook. Come on, guys.
Robert John Davenport says Optimus Prime. Between him and Jedi, I learned everything I ever needed to know about being strong and honorable growing up in the 80s. And then I got my ass kicked a lot because apparently knowing may be half the battle, but being a fat little nerd doesn't get you the rest of the way there.
That's a slow clap, John. Slow clap.
Jason Taylor says Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What? Dorian from Almost Human. The Gunslinger from Westworld. I'm not familiar with that.
That's great, yeah. You should watch that if you've never seen it.
Okay. And Crow T. Robot from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Nice.
Charles Pattinson says it has to be the Terminator. He was awesome as both good and bad.
Paul Lascelles says Bicentennial Man. I don't know. Is that good or bad?
Ooh.
Did she say it's good?
I don't know. It sounds like she hasn't decided, but you decided for her, you son of a bitch.
All right. Well, sorry if you liked that movie, Paula. I did not.
Marcus Eckhoff says Hal from 2001. Again, I think that is an AI, not a robot.
I think Hal might be AI, but I appreciate the answer. I think Judge's ruling that might be AI.
Oh, so you're going to call...
Is there a robot
dirty
arm? Is there a
AI
writer
well?
we can call?
Does it at least have an arm it can manipulate? Because I haven't seen 2001 in years, and I don't plan on seeing it again.
Is that what defines it as a robot? It's got to have an arm?
Well, to me, a robot is it doesn't have to be human shaped, but it's generally about our size, and it independently moves around. An AI of a starship or a spaceship, however you want to phrase it, to me that's just an AI. I guess you could technically say it's a robot, but unless it fucking transforms,
does it fly the ship? I can't remember. Did Hal fly the ship?
Yes.
I don't know.
Robotic by definition means something that is controlled or moved by a computer.
There you go.
All right, I guess Hal fits, but I'm keeping my foot in the ground. I'm not backing up.
All right, David McGrath says Roy Batty from Blade Runner. His final speech on the rooftop in the rain is one of the great moments in cinema.
It is.
On TV, I have a lot of love for Bender on Futurama.
Dear Lord.
I can't stand Futurama.
I actually don't like Futurama, but Bender is funny.
Scott Calgaro says Sonny from iRobot. Loved his personality. Wall-E for the same reason. Oddly enough, I also enjoyed Sam Worthington's Marcus from Terminator Salvation. Spoiler alert!
Hey, I want to say real quick, I loved his character in that. I hate that movie, but he was very good in that character.
I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the movie. It's the weakest of them all, but still I enjoyed it.
Hey, you know how you know what his name is? He shouts it every 5 seconds. I'm John Connor. Hey, guess what? John Connor still.
Robot Terminators, the motorcycle Terminators are badass.
They are. Yeah, that's true.
Steve Peterson. Oh, and let's not forget Vicky from Small Wonder. That show was so fun back in the day, and the acting top notch. I assume that's a hint of sarcasm there.
It's dripping.
Did you ever watch it at all?
Yeah, I remember it.
The one where she talked in a monotone voice like this.
Hello, that's how robots talk.
But she was a cute little girl, just in a dress.
She talks just like a robot.
Yeah, that the theme song to that show is like the epitome of 80s sitcoms to me. Like that, just
it's not a good thing.
Linton Bowers, I have to go with one of the robots that made it possible for robots of today to find work in Hollywood. The robot from Lost in Space. That old classic M3 model B9 was a trailblazer and an inspiration.
That's a good point.
I like that.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Peter Germany, Crichton. Is it Crichton?
Yeah.
From Red Dwarf. Oh, I forgot about Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf's a great show, man.
Oh. And for movies, it's The Terminator or RoboCop.
RoboCop is not a robot. RoboCop is a cyborg.
It says Robo in the name.
So fucking what? It started as a man, and then they added augmentation of robotics into him. That's a cyborg.
I guess we have a new battle.
Oh man!
Let's email the writer.
I'm too opinionated. Stacy,
what? You are not.
Thierry says this guy, Johnny Five.
Johnny Five.
And it looks like she took a picture of her television watching the movie, so I think
it's pretty funny. Is that it?
Oh, Angela says, and Johnny Five as well, so they both agreed.
Sean McGuire agrees with us. He says Data.
Yeah. Stephen White, how can it not be Marvin from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Six from Battlestar Galactica?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Angela Lee comes back and says Wall-E.
And then lastly, Steve Peterson, if everyone doesn't answer Bender, they're wrong.
I guess a lot of them are wrong.
Also Wall-E and the evil Bill and Ted robots.
Oh, shit. I
forgot about those guys.
I forgot about those. Oh, thanks, guys. That's great. And we'll have a different topic. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it'll be one next week. Hopefully just as fun. Remember, if you like us on Facebook, we'll mention you on the show, and that's facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Mario Caesar and Sahib Khan. I don't remember if I remember mentioning any of you last weekend, but thank you, or last week. Thank you for liking the show. We appreciate it. We also have the Facebook group, which I will put the link into the show notes. So if you want to come there and just talk movies with the rest of us, you're more than welcome. Now, Justin, you have a book signing coming up, and if you're listening to this after, what's the date?
After the Saturday, the 21st.
Then you are out of luck. But if you hear this before the 21st and you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can go see Justin McCumber at a book signing. Where is it at?
It's at Wild West Comics and Games in Arlington, Texas.
Dun, dun, dun. How far is that from Dallas and Fort Worth?
Arlington is basically right in the middle of Fort Worth and Dallas. Probably about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic from either city.
Okay.
But you're seeing me. It's worth a 10-hour drive.
All right. Now let's mention a couple messages we got on the Twitter.
In regards to Godzilla's son, Brad Peterson says he was Manila in the movies. So there you go. HC Flick Fans says Godzilla's kid was named Godzuki.
In the cartoon.
In the cartoon. So
we
there
had
you
talked
go.
about Godzilla's son last week, and now we know who that is, because we didn't know. Scotty, we also got a couple in regards to the drive-in topic.
Into drive-ins, yeah. Junebug Johnson says, I was at the drive-in this weekend. It was packed, so there was definitely a lot of people who still go.
See? People go.
And D.A. Cheney said, I used to, but I moved. I think they're popular in their areas. For me, it always depended which two movies were playing.
Why you gotta be so picky?
You know, every summer I say I'm going to go see a drive-in movie theater, because we got a couple.
You and I are going.
We need
you
to.
and I are going.
We need to.
Just make sure you're staying out of the back seat, you two. We know how you get.
We're going to take a truck and we're going to go in the bed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Put a little air mattress back there.
No, you don't need that. I want to make it rough.
Remember the old school ones where they had the little like things you would bring into your car with the speaker to listen to the movie?
Yeah.
Before
now you can bring the magic speaker, that small little thing, and you still got it all.
A lot of them do FM transmitting, too.
Yep, they do. Yep.
Yep.
You can always stay through the credits for outtakes. Our website is thehollywoodoutsider.com, or you can tweet us at H_outsider. Already mentioned Facebook. You can leave us a message or text us at 818-814-6246. And our email is feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Remember, listen and subscribe for free on iTunes, where we would love a review of the show. That would be fantastic. Or Stitcher Radio, give us a thumbs up, or just through our RSS feed. That's going to do it for this episode of The Hollywood Outsider, guys. I want to thank Justin and Scotty for being here, as always.
Thanks
for having us. It was my pleasure.
Yes, it was. Thanks for being here, you opinionated jackass. And remember, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn.
What's this surprise you've got for me?
I'll tell you on the show. No, it's a cool surprise.
Okay.
And it's in fun, so don't get crabby. It's in fun.
That's a great way to ease his mind.
Thanks for easing me into that one.
How about you not use the mouse? How about you just use the trackpad?
Well, I can't not use the mouse. You mean to blow at the screen and see if it moves?
No, like use the touchpad on the bottom of the thing.
I guess I could.
I mean, it's a surefire way.
Stop with your logic. I don't have time for that nonsense.
What do you put on? Oh, hey, Justin, fun fact. If you go to Amazon and search for Hollywood Outsider, your book pops up.
Ego blown.
I thought about it, but there was no way I was going to make it this year.
Because of your teaching?
Yeah, we got an extra...
Did you hear the quotes around that?
Justin's like calling sick.
The same quotes I always use around the word writer.
Right, exactly.
That's right, guys. Go at it before the show. Let's do it.